Welcome to Muslims and Mental Health with Sister Heather, a groundbreaking program looking at mental health issues through the biopsychosocial spiritual paradigm.
Welcome to another episode of Muslims and Mental Health. Today we're going to talk about 15 coping skills for teen stress. In an earlier episode, we talked about stress management and the importance of that. And today we're going to build upon that by talking about 15 actual coping skills you can use with your teens to deal with stress. So number one is naming it. You want to list out all the emotions that you're feeling. And one of the ways you can do that with your children is to use a sheet to decipher between emotion, thought, and reactions. And we will have the sheet for your download on nefshealertherapy.wordpress.com so that you can download it and use it with your children. But if you can do this exercise and decipher between thoughts, emotions, and reactions, you can raise the awareness of your teen's emotion and ability to name them, and it's an opportunity for them to manage their emotions in a healthy and safe manner. When you raise this awareness, you also increase the ability to communicate with others what they feel, and they also learn the function of emotions and what their job is. Is it a normal experience? And this will help them throughout their life in terms of gauging, what they're feeling and thinking and how they're reacting to things. It also increases the chances of a more stable interaction with others that they will have and give them a better sense of self. It decreases, according to Linehan in a 1993 study, it decreases the sense of feeling emptiness because often adolescents report feeling empty inside or not knowing who they are. And by identifying their emotions and their feelings and how they react to them, it'll give them a better sense of self, so more grounding and that foundation of self to help them build into a better person. The second coping skill we're going to look at is communication styles. And one of the ways we can do this is actually through role-playing scenarios. So if we role-play talking to one another, we actually do talk to each other every day, but if we intentionally role-play, then we can identify the communication that's being used. Is it passive? Is it aggressive? Is it passive-aggressive? Are they assertive? Are they more introverted and shy? And this, by identifying the communication style and working on it, it can decrease their stress, and stress can be managed better with assertive communication, right? By setting up boundaries and limitations. And this is one thing that adolescents work on quite a bit of, and if they have the knowledge and the people around them supporting this, because it's a great time for them to do that. When adolescents don't have the people around them encouraging them to set up strong boundaries, then sometimes, we see bad things happening with them. So this is a good time for them to learn that assertive communication through role-playing, and that teaches them how to set up boundaries and limits with others. And then it also helps them to recognize what they need to do versus what they want to do. Needs and wants is a conversation that adolescents have quite a bit with their parents, and this helps to distinguish the difference. Teenagers also have the opportunity in this to express their feelings and thoughts and how to engage in meaningful conversations with others. So what is a meaningful conversation to an adolescent? That's a good thing to explore with them, and then set boundaries yourself as parents with them in terms of, when you're out in society, this is an appropriate conversation to have. This may not be so appropriate. If you have appropriate conversations, this is kind of how things work. If you have not so appropriate conversations, these are some of the consequences of that. And in that conversation, then, it leads to the next, which is developing self-control. And so you learn how to communicate with others in a constructive and effective manner rather than having emotional conversations that may lead to regrets later. You can teach the importance of attending behaviors like eye contact and body language, tone of voice, tracking verbal exchange. So sometimes we see with teens not who are more introverted, maybe they have a hard time looking people in the eye, and culturally for the dominant culture in the United States, looking people in the eye can be a matter of trust. And so teaching our kids these social cues and helping them with this communication style would be a great benefit to them in terms of coping with their stress within society. And so another part of that is that we have a worksheet on that as well, on communication styles, on nafshealertherapy.wordpress.com. The third coping skill that we want to look at is distinguishing stress. So in our previous episode, we discussed the difference between eustress and distress, and it's important to know these differences. So if you didn't get a chance to watch that episode, go back and take a look at that. And then you can also, once you understand the concepts of eustress, the positive stress, and distress, the negative stress, list out the pros and cons of each of these situations and teach your children how to choose something better. So when they approach something and they're not sure about it, they're ambivalent about it, have them list out, teach them, this habit early. Have them list out the pros, the cons, which side is better, and then make a choice based on that. This will also help them to learn how to tolerate stress and deal with it in the present moment, as opposed to ruminating about it, so thinking about it a lot over time, or spending too much time thinking about the future. What is going on in the present moment. And then have them also create a list of pleasant activities. This will help them later on to go refer back to when they're having stress. Oh, I can do, this and it will relieve my stress. So that's another way of dealing with this. Number 4, we're going to look at exercise. Exercise is something that we frequently come back to because it is such a important part to positive stress, to the eustress. Some examples of exercise are taking a walk, stretching your body, swimming, tai chi, martial arts, basketball. And as your kids are developing, you want to encourage them to try out different things. And as teenagers, you want to have them rate what they're participating in. So let's say your child participates in soccer. When they finish a session of it, have them rate it on a scale of 1 to 10 as to how much they really liked it, how much they benefited from it. And, if it was something really beneficial, they want to continue, great. If it's something they found that really didn't fit with them or suit them, then, try something different. But the point is to find something that you really like to do and that you can do consistently and enjoy throughout your life. Number 5, count your blessings. So one way to reduce stress is to count your blessings, to make a list of all the blessings that you have in your life, things that you're grateful for, and keep it posted somewhere where you can see it every day so that you can have it as a constant reminder. That will immediately give you a boost because you're getting to remind yourself of all the good things that you have in this life. Number 6, fasting. Fasting is a great coping skill. It's not one that we typically think of when we talk about coping skills, but it is one that we're very familiar with as Muslims, and it's beneficial to us as Muslims. It's really beneficial to the whole world, but very, few people think about fasting as a coping skill. And why is it a good coping skill? Well, it's a good time to really learn how to utilize it as a coping skill with life stressors. For example, when we fast and we are depriving ourselves of the food and the water, it helps us to keep a reality check in, one, by empathizing with others. So it puts the emphasis elsewhere, which also helps us to learn, about restraint. So when we go back and talk earlier about the wants and the needs that children have, this helps them to regulate that by learning about restraint and deprivation, and also by thinking about others. So you kind of get the whole package of, wants and needs, and thinking about how I impact others in the world. And so fasting can be a great tool for a coping skill for reducing teen stress. Number 7, acts of charity. Doing for others can lift your mood instantaneously. It works by distracting you away from your worries and tensions that you are not able to do anything about in the immediate. So when we talked before about staying in the present, doing things for others can have that effect. You are, putting aside your worries for the moment and you're focusing on the benefit and the health of others. And so what we also know that this does is it increases and releases the chemicals in the brain that uplift our moods. So those the epinephrine and serotonin that we talked about earlier that can boost your mood. Number 8, get physical. What I mean by this is not what we talked about previously, exercise. I'm distinguishing this a little bit from exercise. What I mean by get physical is, for example, hugging it out. Recent research has shown that if you hug somebody for 20 seconds, it will boost your mood. So give somebody a hug and hold on to them for 20 seconds. Cuddling with a blanket can be a great soothing technique. Giving yourself a massage can also be a mood increaser, but it's also great to have one given to you. So that's even better. So get out there and get physical. Number 9, laugh. Laughter is a great coping skill, and it can cheer you up. It decreases anxiety, and it has been known to have a genuine positive effect. So even when you feel like there's nothing to really laugh about, you can just make yourself laugh. And this is one of the bases of laughter yoga, for example, which is a great technique to use where you can you use different techniques throughout the body and you laugh at the same time. And I've used this myself with adolescents. They love it. And if you go online, you'll find a laughter yoga class. They are, by their association, generally supposed to be taught for free. And so that's another great aspect about them. They don't cost anything to attend, and they're a lot of fun. So check out a laughter yoga class. Number 10, inhale. So another mood-altering coping skill that we know about is aromatherapy. And some of these scents that will actually alter your moods are orange and lavender. So if you feel so inclined to, you like the smell of things, then try aromatherapy. Number 11, mindfulness. Mindfulness is a practice that, if practiced each week, it allows teens to become more attuned to their interactions with their peers and families and strangers. It helps them to think more carefully about their emotions and how they could react versus how they would react. And so some of the ideas for mindfulness, the different types of mindfulness, we hear this word mindfulness a lot, but we don't realize necessarily that there are many types of mindfulness. And so some of them that can be used with children and teens are mindful eating, mindful observation on judgment. So one of the ways that you would work on mindful judgment is by taking magazines, for example, and looking at the pictures in the magazines and asking your child what that image, or facial expression is telling you about that person. And so you can assist them and help them learn appropriate affect or interpretation of what emotions are being expressed in a particular picture. There's mindful breathing. On our website, we will have an example, a podcast of a body scan that you can try with your children around mindfulness. There's mindful drawing, mindful writing, and one of the things you do with mindful writing, which is great, is that you have your child write with their dominant hand, and then you have them write with their non-dominant hand. And it gives them a real sense of the balance or the meaning behind, writing with their dominant hand. And then there's mindful relaxation, progressive muscle relaxation. We do have a podcast on our website about this already with the test taking anxiety reduction, but there will be others added to it in the coming weeks. So you're welcome to look at the website and get lots of information about mindfulness, and that helps us progress into number 12, which is relaxation. Relaxation gives teens and children different tools to use in different situations. And so it encourages teens to manage their stress. And you don't need a lot of tools for this. So, for example, a nice relaxation technique is a a breathing exercise. And they can do this while seated in their classroom, and nobody knows what's going on. So it's a way of relaxing them, getting them prepared, reducing their stress, and nobody has to know, what is happening with them. So relaxation techniques can be really good, and you can provide a number of them. So we have like guided imagery, tense and release, the 3 senses, body scanning, and calm breathing. And these can be taught and given to kids and teens as a toolkit, if you will. So they'll have it with them wherever they go, and they can pull out whichever of these they need to get them in the state that they need to be in any given situation. These are used a lot with teens in their public speaking classes, for example. Number 13, being artistic. You want to consider this exercise of being artistic. Draw your feelings. This is one good way to get out both your good feelings. I mean, you can create something beautiful, but your negative feelings as well. If you draw them, you can then either tear them up, so you're getting out more of your frustration. So you draw it, you tear it up, you shred it up, you throw it away, and nobody else has to know about what you've drawn. Or you can hand them to, somebody who cares about you, who can actually help you with the frustration or the feeling that you're having, so that it's another way of communicating what's going on inside of you. At this time, I want to take a short break for our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Hi, welcome to Adelante. This is Adelante Recovery, and my name is Yvette Kuglin, and I'm part of the staff.
Adelante Recovery Center has helped people in dual diagnosis for 5 years. We accept most PPO insurances and provide luxury accommodations and 24-hour support. To speak with an admissions counselor, call 1-888-242-4450.
A lot of time we don't even know what's wrong with us, and sometimes we need to get away to figure that out. So if you want to go for a little retreat out in Corona Del Mar, which is a confidential location, we're here to help. So we're only a phone call away. Thank you.
Welcome back to Muslims and Mental Health. Today we're looking at 15 coping skills that you can use with teens to reduce stress. We're going to continue now with number 14. And number 14 is a fun exercise. It's called Create a Box. And what you want to do is develop a box of items that are self-soothing that you can pull out as you need to. And this is a great exercise to do with teenagers. And you don't have to do anything fancy, although you can make it as fancy as you'd like. But what you would include, I brought a box today to give you an example of what you might include. So I just took a regular tennis shoe box here and put in it some of the things that I like to use to relax. So for example, I might have some of my Vicar beads in there. I have a CD set of Sheikh Hamza Yusuf's that I like to listen to. There's a guided meditation that I like to listen to. There's some music by Toto that I like to listen to. I have some love poetry in here. Whatever, works for you and for your teenager, and have them choose things that, other items that you could put in there would be like movies or, their favorite book or their favorite game. And even you could get more creative and have them take a box like this. You could have them decoupage it, let them, decorate it any way they, would like to, and just make it something that they can pull out anytime they're feeling stress. And it contains all the good things that they like. You might even throw in a candy bar or something occasionally in there. So this is a great exercise to do with your teen. Create their own box and have for their own space. Number 15, know your resources. This is really important because you may be going along in life and life seems pretty normal, but then all of a sudden you're hit with something and you just really don't know where to turn or what to do. And we see this happening a lot with teenagers. And so you want to know what resources are available in your area, in your regional area where you live, online. There are numerous resources. And so some of those that are available online, first I would encourage you to check out your local mosque and community centers and see what they have available. But we also have online, we have the American Muslim Health Professionals website, which can refer you to various people that you might need resources from. There's also the National Suicide Hotline. There's www.samsha.gov, which has a lot of great resources on it. And there's also the Health and Human Services, which is www.hhs.gov. All these websites have great information and great resources for any number of issues that you might encounter as a teenager. In addition, on our own website, we have resources for you, and that's www.nafshealertherapy.wordpress.com. So just in sum, I would like to remind you that the 15 coping skills are not the only coping skills that exist out there, but these are the 15 that I wanted to highlight for you to use with your teens. There are many other coping skills that you may come across, and I hope that this begins your journey in doing that. So this concludes another episode of Muslims and Mental Health. We appreciate all your comments, your feedback, and concerns. You can reach us at nafshealertherapy.gmail.com. That's NAFSHEALER therapy@gmail.com. Thank you.